Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and today on the Hermitcraft server, you can tell that Grian has absconded with his head. The contest is over, unfortunately, or fortunately. I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania all weekend. I wasn't not able to be here for the judging, which was part of the why. Part of the why. What is a why if not a reason? What is a reason if not a season? Anyway, part of the reason that this season I have joined up with the convicts in order to, conglomerate all those heads together. I was hoping if I threw in with them and TFC and everything, we would come out ahead in this. But now, at the end of this, I realized we spent all this effort collecting skulls, and I'm negative 40 points in the hole. Now, that's just kind of a Joe Hills thing, you might say. You might be like, hey, Joe, you're always tipping the scales. Negative 40 Celsius, negative 40 Fahrenheit. That's just where everything converges around you, man. That's cool. But, you don't have to win everything. Well, let me tell you something, gentle viewers. Kind, beautiful, gentle, bold, brave, not arrogant. Not too arrogant. Just, check yourself sometime, a little bit. Just tone it down. You're great viewers. Gentle viewers, let me tell you one thing today, right now. I did not come out entirely behind on this. I had an amazing time all weekend, and I also got an Elytra with Mendon and Unbreaking 3, and a shulker box full of gravel. 59 more gravel in that first stack, and then 26 more stacks of gravel. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of gravel. We are doing very well on gravel and Elytra replacements. Now, that is technically a lifetime Elytra replacement plan, so I don't have to worry about doing something stupid like jumping off here and falling in lava. Like, where might there be lava? No, seriously, where might there be lava? Anybody put any lava over here? What is this thing? Can I fly into that? No, that's obsidian. That is lava that's been sufficiently bucketed to not be fun anymore. Okay, well, I can't seem to find a convenient lava field. So here's what I think we're gonna do. We're gonna go head back to ConCorp, where I built that beautiful TV room for everyone to hang out and pal around and enjoy videos. And I'm gonna subject everyone to some videos of me at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here we go! Unless they ruined my room. Alrighty, so we approach ConCorp here, and we will see if they have left our TV room in place. Oh my goodness, they did! Look, ConCorp and Friends Television Lounge. Oh, and there's another skull! Man, ConCorp sure does love skulls. Although, at a certain point, I think about it, and I got into ConCorp by, dropping off, 140 skulls or something, and then they've got, a big skull television in here. At a certain point, I have to start asking, are we the baddies? Are we the baddies, Mr. Skull? Are we? Okay. Ah! Hey, what is this back here? I was just going to rub my face on this skull painting until it got all oily, because I don't have enough zits now that I'm not a small child and I felt nostalgic. But hey, this is a nice space. You know what we can put in here is books. ConCorp clearly needs to learn things from books at a certain point. There you go, ConCorp. Read a book. But yeah, anyway, actually I'm going to pick those up as I go because I don't want them to despawn. But yeah, let me roll some footage from my trip to PAX Unplugged. Welcome to PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
A big part of PAX is waiting in lines. I'm in a line now. You can kind of see there's a bunch of people back there. Too many. No, not enough. It's going to be great. Yay!
There's some really elaborate playscapes for some of these games. As you can see here, this is a reconstruction of the original Garden of Eden. We got the same one over here. They have multiple reconstructions of the same thing, so different people can play the same game simultaneously. Over here we have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. As you can see, there are all of the bunkers and the concertina wire, as Fred Rogers himself imagined when he constructed the land of make-believe. This is truly a wonderful thing to behold in person. I'm sorry you guys can only see it on video, but it is just absolutely wondrous, the detail here. You can just imagine where little Daniel Tiger lives. It's breathtaking.
So one thing I've noticed in my travels, see, we've got this wonderful mall here with Independence Hall behind us on that side. Then we spin right round. There's the National Constitution Center on the other side. In Tennessee, most of the malls, you got a Dillard's and then, like, if you're lucky, a Macy's. Like, these anchor stores here are clearly a lot better. You can get a Constitution and Independence all at the same mall. I mean, that's the Philadelphia difference, obviously.
You can tell PAX is really drawing to a close once they start throwing all the metal detectors on the ground. You know, that's usually, it's like the birds fleeing south. It's over.
That was such a fun weekend. Now, most of the weekend I actually spent around other people, so I couldn't just, like, take out my camera and be like, hey, what's going on? Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here. Recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a big nerd making videos at a nerd conference. You know, that's not cool. You go to a board gaming convention around other people, you basically want to just, you know, hang out and play games and stuff. In addition to the random clips of me in Philadelphia and around the con that you saw there, I actually, and around the not Constitution Center, I did go to the National Constitution Center, but also the Convention Center. I actually got to do a lot of other stuff. Why don't we go ahead and wander back out of here? I got to play in like a massive game of D&D with like maybe 16 to 20 people, which was just as chaotic and beautiful as you'd think it would be, thanks to our incredible Dungeon Master Clues. I got to go to a beer tasting, thanks to this wonderful fellow named St. Brian. Like, it was just a amazing weekend. I got to meet some of you guys out there, like New Jersey Coffee Junkie and Dane Leon. Oh man, this is all full of garbage. How did that happen? How am I gonna fill this with cooked potatoes? Oh, okay, good. It's not all full of garbage. So anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and cook some of these potatoes. I don't think carrots actually cook, unfortunately. Why don't we take half of these and spread them out? You know, I don't know, just sometimes I do think, though, as much as I've enjoyed being a part of this Convexical Alliance, I'm not sure that, you know, they really followed the letter of the intention of the objective of what we were trying to accomplish by splitting up all the heads and randomizing them and giving me negative 40 points, because, like, now I agree in 40 heads, and that's like a whole separate problem. That makes me think, like, you know, what if the convex don't have our best interests at heart? Or, worse, what if they do and can't tell that they're bad at what they do, right? I mean, once again, though, skulls everywhere. Maybe we're the baddies. I don't know. If you guys have thoughts about whether convex is good or bad or indifferent or incompetent, leave notes in the comments section below. I don't know, maybe I should leave and go my own way and reevaluate my entire process on this thought-wise, or maybe I should blow up the organization from within, you know, because, like, I'm technically inside one of their rooms right now. Do I have any TNT? No. Well, I'll wait until after you guys leave your comments. But yeah, core concept, not really sure exactly how I feel. I feel like maybe I've been taken advantage of a little bit. Just a little bit. You know what, we'll leave these to cook. I only need 23 baked potatoes right now anyway. So, anyway, now that I've got that timber in my eye, I'm going to ignore the splinter in yours and go this way. Time skip. Oh no, I fell. One theme that's recurred since I've been gone is that this train line has been extended out in this direction, another one out there. It is a really good time for me to go ahead and probably start working on the station. Now that we are into Advent, it is actually time to start decorating that Christmas tree as well. So I am looking forward to getting all of that laid out. As you can see, some of our friends have already started work on the Christmas district here. We have a wonderful ice globe, or flurry sphere, as they call them in England. No, I'm sorry, that's not right. Flurry sphere. We have a little gumdrop house made of gingerbread with gumdrops. You know, if all the houses were made of gingerbread and gumdrops, oh, what a house that would be. Doesn't really have much going on inside, but, you know, we'll get there. That's pretty cool. I love Hermitcraft and its potential. That place has some crazy potential. Let's go over here now. What are we doing anyhow? I'm realizing, you know, like I said, I just got back from my trip. I'm going to need to gather a whole bunch of different colored clay probably for these boxes. Gonna have to move this this here up a little bit. I might need to do some inventory management in order to go gather some clay. So why don't we go ahead and take care of that now? Time skip. I've successfully inventory managed my way into making a space for the terracotta down below. That's me. That is Joe. You might not even believe it, though. I've got 4 empty shulker boxes. I don't think I could fill those if I tried. But I was curious how I was capable of generating 4 empty shulker boxes. Pro tip, I was. Yay, me. Ow, my face. One thing I feel like I did really right this trip to Philadelphia was that I made time to get to hang out in the city before and after the convention, you know? Like, on Thursday night when I flew in, like, normally for a Penny Arcade Expo, I would fly in, like, Friday. The expo opens at, like, 11 a.m. I would fly in super early in the morning, drop everything off, check in at the hotel. A lot of times they wouldn't even let us have our rooms. They would just say, hey, you can put your bags behind the desk, and come back at 2 o'clock to check in for real. Then I would run over to the convention center, hang out, you know, do all this stuff, and then I'd fly out Sunday night. And that was just too much, you know? So this time I actually flew in Thursday night, the night before. One of the founders of Penny Arcade, Jerry Holkins, was actually doing a reading of a new book of his called Lexcalibur, which I've been trying to find a copy of, but it keeps going out of print as soon as it goes up for sale. But basically the idea is, what if Shel Silverstein had written a bunch of poems about Dungeons and Dragons? It's very whimsical and, you know, kid-friendly, kind of goofy poems about adventuring and treasure and stuff. I got to see him read that for all of us, spoke with him, got the book signed for Corinne. And I made sure, if you have a kid with a weird name, before you go wait in line to have an author sign the book, I just type her name on my phone and make the letters really big so it can be, you know, hey, this is how you spell my daughter's name. She'd really appreciate it if it was spelled right. You don't tell them to spell it right. They know that. They know that part. They're authors. But, like, do them the courtesy of having already written down the name. That is a good way to be a good fan. But yeah, so that was just so cool. Getting that book signed for her. She was super excited because the book, the first poem in it, has a beholder. Although legally they can't call it that. It is a many-eyed monster or something. Because beholder is officially copy or trademark Wizards of the Coast. And I also managed to pick her up a paintable beholder mini at the convention. Now, for like some games like Dungeons and Dragons, I personally prefer to play kind of theater of the mind, where, you know, it's a role-playing game and you talk about what everybody's doing. You don't need a map necessarily with figurines on it. But some people, because Dungeons and Dragons has its roots in like old school World War II wargaming, some people like to make miniatures and paint them and stuff. And I got a real deal. There's these beholder figurines that usually go for about $25. They're hard to get a hand of or a hold of, and they the manufacturer had them at the convention for their MSRP of $5. So I was like, a $5 thing for $5, that's the same as the poem in the book I just got last night. So I made sure to pick up one of those for Corinne. She's super excited already about how we're going to paint it together. She says she wants to make it purple with red eye stalks, and she wants to paint the inside of the mouth red too. She thinks that'll be scary because it's like blood. Of course, Corinne's grandmother was visiting when I got back from the convention, and she thought that it was a terrifying gift. And I don't know. I know my daughter. I know what she likes. Corinne was just like, I like this because I get to be creative and think about what I want to do with it. I'm like, I know, right? It's good, you know. Because, like, even though Theater of the Mind might be more creative in a lot of ways for actual gameplay, you know, the idea of handing a child a small sculpture to paint and saying, hey, here's this gray sculpted thing, and you can come with me to the store and pick out the colors, and then we'll paint it, you know. And that's kind of really cool for a 5-year-old. So I'm excited about that. Let's see, what did I see? I saw 3 live Dungeons & Dragons games from the Chris Perkins Extended Cinematic Universe. Although Chris Perkins was not at any of the games. I saw 2 Acquisitions Incorporated D&D games and 1 Dice Camera Action game. Oh, I got to meet up with the Waffle Crew, the Dice Camera Action players, and got my picture with them. Oh, I should have put... Dang it, it's a shame that I'm not still at the Convex thing. I need a place to put this picture. Is there anything like that looks like a picture frame over here I could use? I don't know. I'll just stare into the sun real good. No, that's too small. I'm just going to awkwardly put the picture on the screen. No, that's terrible. I'm going to build a 3x4 thing here. No, it should be 9x16, you know, just to get it right. You know what? We'll just make that the base of the picture frame there. Put that away. So anyway, I got this picture with the Waffle Crew. And I actually played in a game with them a while back as the giant Harshnag the Grim. And as you can see, they're all much more photogenic than I am. But when I showed my daughter this picture, she pointed at Holly on the right and was just like, she has the best smile. She's way better than you at smiling. And I was like, well, you know, it's hard to hold a camera and look attractive. And they're all standing behind a table, so they're like the appropriate distance from the camera, Corinne. And it's like, you should ask her help to be good at smiling. And I'm like, thanks. I'm sure Holly really wants to spend time teaching me to be better at smiling, or to not talk like Porky Pig, apparently. Either way, it was really cool hanging out with them. And I should tell you guys, I got a suboptimal shirt from them. Suboptimal is generally how they describe their player characters. And I got it, and I thought to myself, like, you know, I think this is funny, but sometimes when I buy shirts I think are funny, I end up not wearing them as often as I would like to, or as I intended to, because I'm like, well, you know, just because I think it's funny doesn't mean this is appropriate to wear out and about everywhere I would go. So I got this shirt that says suboptimal on it, and immediately my friends call me up and they're like, hey, we went back to that bubble tea place, and the person behind us in line was like, hey, what kind of hoagie are you getting? And they're like, what, hoagies? This is the bubble tea place. And the person behind them in line was like, oh no, these guys had the best Vietnamese hoagies in all of Philadelphia, which my wife has repeatedly told me is actually called banh mi. But anyway, in Philadelphia, they call these sandwiches that have like 2 slices of bread and food in the middle hoagies. Other places call them submarine sandwiches, or in Vietnam, they call them banh mi. But anyway, so I got this shirt that says suboptimal, and my friends are like, Joe, we found optimal subs. So I went ahead, and my amazing friend, Andrea, who I was going to say I should photo credit her, but she might not want her whole name out on this, took this great picture of me wearing my suboptimal shirt, eating an optimal sub. That's a good way to vacation, you know? You make a purchase, and you live it out, you know? So anyway, that is my suboptimal shirt. Where are we? We are still hitting things with hammers. Why can't I see... Which is the button to see the pickaxe? There it is, that one. Anyway, so yeah, I got to hang out at the convention, got to see some live D&D games, got to wear a shirt that I bought. It was a fun time, you know? It's always so nice to get out of town for a little bit. I'm actually going to another convention, like on Friday, in Nashville this time, though, for WordPress, which is called WordCamp US. It's the biggest WordPress convention in the United States. It was held in Nashville last year, and they're holding it again here this year. One other thing I realized I should talk about is I actually visited the National Museum of Jewish American History, and I got to see a wonderful exhibit on Rube Goldberg, who was one of the cartoonists who I thought was really interesting when I was young. If you're not familiar with him, his ideas are like all sorts of funny. He has inventions, and he has just funny political cartoons, thoughtful political cartoons, artwork, all sorts of neat things. And I probably spent an hour just looking through the pictures in this one floor of the museum. So one thing that's really cool is, you know, they would contrast having the final printed piece, like this magazine cover that you see here, envisioning a future of what comes next after color TV. Well, as you can tell, he kind of figured out the iPad. He just didn't figure out how flat it was going to be. Core concept. Rube Goldberg came up with a lot of interesting ideas, and, you know, he's also, though, on the exhibit, they had the original art for the magazine cover right next to the cover. So here's the original art, and, you know, not that, like, oh, it's way different or whatever, but it's just so cool to be in the same room as these sorts of objects. I also went to the National Constitution Center, and they had these dueling pistols in their Hamilton exhibit, and I'm like, whoa, there's no way those are the original dueling pistols that, like, killed Alexander Hamilton. And they are not. These are actually replicas. And it turns out, you know, I actually couldn't find out. They didn't say in the museum exactly what happened to the originals. I should probably Google that. But it's kind of one of those things I was thinking about. It's like, oh man, imagine being the guy who lent them those dueling pistols and being like, oh no, these are evidence. Like, that's its own whole thing. So anyway, yeah, where was I? so many cool things in Philadelphia. I made time to go to museums this time. I went to 2 different museums. I went to a book reading. It was a great weekend. And I hope that you guys have the opportunity to make a great weekend for yourself sometime. Anyway, I probably better get back to gathering clay. But until next time, y'all, though, this is not where my fireworks are. This is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee.